So what's crazy is I'm gonna try that one again.
Yo.
What's crazy is we never did the intro, so I don't know how
Yeah,
much
I
of
don't
this
even
is gonna
know if
make
this
the
is even gonna make
episode.
it. This is politics, baby.
Meow.
Politics, furry, help meow.
I was gonna say I think Ruby should do the intro and the
I
Patreon
love
read
you.
and the outro and
Oh yeah, just
introduce all of the
really,
topics.
really raw dog their voice.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not gonna make it to the Patreon
You're good.
outro.
I'm so sorry. You sound so.
I was
Yeah.
I was fine 12 hours ago. Like I got in, I felt fine, and then I woke up in the middle of the night and it felt like someone punched me in the throat, and now I'm exhausted.
Typically, it takes a little longer for symptoms to pop up. Have you tested?
Yeah, that was my
for
question.
COVID, I tested for COVID. I don't have COVID.
That's good.
Well, that's good, but the flu that's been running around this year has been awful.
Oh god.
Yeah, I think it's just a good old flu.
Yeah. For those listening, I'm sure you could tell by now by how we're talking, but Ruby is very sick. So please give them your best wishes. Yeah, they got the good old fashioned pre-2019 con crud.
Fuck.
I
was so good the whole con too. I wore a mask and the dealer's dead.
And that's why masks don't
stop making out with all those strangers.
Fuck you.
I will not.
I'll do whatever I want.
Like I masked all day during the dealers, 20 hours. What'd you do for the last 4 hours? Made out with strangers.
I don't do whippets ever, but I was at a party on Sunday night where they were just passing around a giant whippet, and I was like, all of you are gonna get sick.
I have a question.
They aren't following the rules.
I have a question.
Oh.
What's a whippet?
Oh.
I've heard that so much, and I don't know what it is.
Okay, wait. You haven't known for this whole time?
I've never known. I have no idea. Is that the CO2 thing, or is that something else?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
it is.
It's the not CO2 though, right? It's
So people like them because they're non-committal. You do a whippet and you're high for like 2 minutes, but they fuck with your brain. Don't do whippets.
I wasn't planning on it. I was just like,
for our audience listeners who are like, well, yeah, I'll try, like, because people like them because they're non-committal. So it's like, oh, I won't do like mushrooms, but I'll do a whippet. The opposite. Do mushrooms. Don't do whippets.
Right, and a lot of I know a lot of argument I've heard for whippets is they're like, oh, it's non-committal, it's nothing bad, you're not introducing like a really nasty drug to your system.
It puts holes in your brain, man.
Because it's just laughing gas. It
really does.
It's nitrous oxide. You just do a little bit of it. Well, isn't it because a lot of it is if you misuse it too much, you're effectively just cutting off the oxygen to your brain. You're suffocating your brain, and then that's why you die. Or no, I don't know if people die from whippets.
Yeah, I've never heard of anyone dying, but
I thought that was like a genuine concern people had. Was
dying
like
from whippets?
it's not often.
Well, see,
like...
the problem is because it's not seen, I guess, as dangerous. People are more willing to do more amounts of it, which is why you see or have seen those really viral pictures of the boxes of the NO2.
God, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That is definitely fucking with your brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think,
like, theoretically, if you did one whippet, it's not gonna mess with you because it's like, shit. Did y'all know about like the like hyperventilating knockout game? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was really popular. With
incredibly. No.
That sounds fucking stupid.
I did it. That's also how I know I'm like got like a secret alter person in me.
Okay.
So no. Okay. So
rascal.
I don't want to teach anybody about this necessarily because it is incredibly dangerous, and we're lucky nothing bad happened to anybody that I know did it. But basically, there's a way.
Autoerotic asphyxiation, but it's a game.
Yeah, you can basically, in a way, hyperventilate and then hold your breath in a way, and it'll knock you out. Basically, you'll just go unconscious for a little bit. Again, obviously, you don't know your body. If you're not like doctor tested, plus who knows what could possibly happen when you pass out from not breathing. Not good to do. But
fuck?
random saw the story when I was a kid, and I was staying over at my buddy's house for the night, like you do. He told me about it, and we're like, "Fuck it, let's do it." And then we did it like for a couple rounds each. And I guess at one point in time, after he had knocked me out, helped me knock out, I guess I woke up, looked him dead in the eye, and smiled at him. And he tried to talk to me, and I just would not like talk to him. And then I woke up.
Oh.
This is not the first time there has been a sleep episode or something where I was not there, but I was there.
So this has been around for a while. That, not to call you old, but like this has been around for a while. Man.
Oh yeah, that was probably closer to 20 years ago now. Maybe a little bit lesser. I'd say maybe I was a teenager at that time. If you don't know, I turned 32 at the end of this month, so we getting there.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
You guys have to wait. You can't say that.
I can say whatever I want whenever I want.
Bitch ass. It'll be the episode that premieres will be next week's, and then it'll be my birthday on the 28th.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yippee.
But yeah. Woo. But yeah, same difference. Don't suffocate your brain. It could hurt you, basically. And to the degree of using boxes and boxes of that shit for parties at cons, not good.
Do not. So, the weather.
Opening.
Oh, the opening was us saying we didn't do an opening.
Meow.
Meow. So the weather.
Bro, okay,
Well,
so
it's snowing.
It was
rightful.
It was -40 for me.
40?
Yeah, we had negative wind chills up to -40 out here.
I had negative wind chills up to 20. -20.
When I went to work on Sunday morning and Monday morning, it was like -18 to -20. That was rough. Today it hit 20 something degrees, and it was like freaking delicious.
Yeah, bust out the sunscreen for that one.
Fucking warm.
Today it has been snowing all day.
Oh god,
and it's miserable.
That was So I went to classes today and did my class. Everything was fine. Music majors have to go to this thing called convocation, and it's basically like a weekly recital at noon on Wednesdays. That got canceled. So we moved my composition lesson up so we could do that a little earlier, so my professor could get home safe. And then I got a text that all classes were canceled past 1 p.m. So it's been snowing quite a bit where I live.
It's I know we got quite a bit over the weekend. Actually all of last week. Been posting about it. It's really interesting though, because I forget what it's called. We're in an El Nino El Nino now with the jet stream and the temperatures of the ocean.
Yeah.
And I believe every 3 years it flips. And this is the start of warmer temperatures in the ocean, which means it will warm the jet stream, which typically means in the United States it will be a more warmer winter. But, and that's a but, just because it's going to be warmer doesn't mean there isn't going to be like these polar vortexes that pull air from the north in Canada down. And it doesn't mean that like warmer means like, well, if an average day in January in Illinois is 20 degrees, if it's 30 degrees, it's still snow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that massive we had a ton of snow all of last week, and then we got that big old cold snap right at the end of it. And I'm supposed to be seeing 40 degrees by Monday of next week.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I think I'm about in the same boat. But yeah, we're hoping classes get canceled tomorrow. I'll let y'all know at the After Bark episode. I don't normally have classes on Fridays, so those are automatically canceled for me. Yay.
I was going to say, if you weren't there for the After Bark, I guess we could talk about Misha for a second. Congrats to getting back to classes, also the house soul.
Yeah, right? The house soul.
Like, when we talk about soul, we talking like, it's cleared.
It's cleared. It's sold, it's cleared. I have one step left to do, but it's not house related. But it is house related, if that makes sense.
It involves the house, but not the house.
Yeah. It involves
physically?
something from the house. It's a car. I don't know why I'm being cryptic.
Oh wait,
I have to
mind.
move a car. Yeah, it's physical. I have to
figured
move
that
a
was
car.
that whole issue.
Yeah. We were supposed to move it Wednesday. I got almost to the house, realized I didn't have my keys, so couldn't throw the car in neutral to get it towed, so that kind of sucked. So we're gonna take care of that tomorrow now that it snowed a shit ton. Yeah.
All right, Misha's going to about 30 cons this.
Yeah, babe. No, I've got like 2, maybe 3 planned.
I'm thinking FWA.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm thinking...
I could totally see you even bailing on that shit and doing like TFF instead or something.
I hear TFF is really fun.
I loved TFF when I went in 2019. It was very fun.
You know who doesn't love TFF? Diesel Raccoon.
Wait, he doesn't? Oh
wait,
he's banned.
Isn't he banned from that?
Yeah.
It's one of the...
all the more reason to attend TFF, honestly.
True.
Yep. And it's honestly not as bad of state laws as Florida. So I saw that map where it's like, if you're trans, what are the legislation look for you in like states, and Florida's just blacked out saying do not go.
Dude, I'm not even like, I'm not trans, and seeing that fills me with dread.
Isn't that well? It's like, crazy. And
whenever they're taking away human rights, we should be afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially as like.
That's the whole point. It's not that it's taking away. I mean, on paper, it's taking away from trans people, but the whole concept is that it's going to progress, right? It's a slippery slope kind of deal. It's like, all right, they're just like they used furry to attack trans, and they've used that to attack the queer community. It's all being pushed to eventually them be able to legislate however they want.
Yeah. That's like,
it's not good.
I don't understand like when there's gay people just watching this happen, because like, fucker, we're next. Like, you think they're gonna stop at trans people? We're literally next on the chopping block.
All.
Yeah,
the people who are like the gays chopping off the trans flag. I don't get it, man.
Dude, yeah.
Oh yeah, and by the way, it's not real. The LGB without the T stuff it's a, what do you call that? Like a dog whistle or whatever.
It's discount homophobia.
Yeah, because you can't just let one of the like one part or group of the queer community be attacked.
Yeah,
it's one or all. You know, you can't just, or one for all. You can't just do that. And it's crazy to see people do that. It's crazy to see some people just not realize.
It's so inflated though. Like, it's so few and far between. They make it look like it's so much bigger than it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, well, that's true. Well, that's why, like, during like all this anti-trans rhetoric and all this shit, all these alt-right conservative news outlets and stuff, they bring on like the same 4 people that like transition and then
the detransitioners.
The detransitioners, but they regret it and they think it's the worst thing in the world that ever happened to them, and they feel like, and their arguments are they're saying like they got coerced or groomed even, is a lot of the language used, but it's the same 4 people. But then, you know, like, obviously as a community, we can look at the other, you know, 99% of trans people that have transitioned over those 4 people, and they're like, the quality of life and everything skyrockets after transitioning.
Anyway, not the topic of this week.
Wow.
I'm down to talk about it.
I have topics.
2
things happened.
I also have a topic, but your topics first.
I'm scared though. I'm scared that Blue Sky may be catching some of the Twitter ripples, because, and I've not seen this kind of discourse on Blue Sky yet until just this week, where, and I didn't even see the original post. I'll be honest with you, I never saw the original post. All I saw, people were basically kind of like sub posting it, but essentially, people are gatekeeping the furry fandom again. Someone somewhere told people, oh, you gotta be in the VR chat and have like furry avatars and shit, or a fursuit to be a furry. And it's like, all right, I don't remember if we've really sat down and talked about this, but let's talk about what it means to be a furry, or what requirements do you have to be a furry. Misha, go. What do you have to be a furry?
You have to like anthropomorphic animals and say that you're a furry. That's literally it. It's no more complicated than that.
Ruby?
That's it. If you identify as a furry, you're a furry.
Yeah.
So from the Bark Meowcast, if you identify as a furry, you're a furry. And if
you don't identify as a furry, then you don't have to be one. I know so many people who are like, I'm not a furry, but they have a fursona. They participate in the community, and you know what? That's so fine.
Right. I've definitely seen some of those. You see a lot of it with the furry adjacent, like Ben Diskin,
furry adjacent
and
people.
Jonah.
Like, I'm cool with furries, but I'm not one. That's cool. That's fine.
That's fine.
And there's some that, there's people where they see it more of a cosplay and a OC thing that they do. Like, instead of being like a hobbit from Lord of the Rings, they decided to go furry, but they're not like, they're like, I'm not a furry. And that's it. That's all it is. It's like, if they say they're not a furry, they're not a furry. And if you're one of those people that are like, oh, you're going to be a furry or something, like, just shut up. Like, just let them live their life. Like, you don't need to be that person where it's like, oh, but you will be. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't. You don't have to. If anything, you're going to push people away by doing stuff like that.
Yeah. I will say, like, someone making a fursona and, like, calling it a fursona and drawing a bunch of furry art and then saying they're not a fursona or not a furry, little weird to me, but I'm never going to be like, oh, you're a furry because I said so, you know? Like,
right.
It's kind of odd to me, but
I always see it as you've got some stuff to figure out about yourself, but who am I to judge?
Yeah.
I mean, you can, and that's one of those
things. I do
hate
people who make hating furry their whole identity.
Oh,
like,
God.
they are a furry.
Oh, God.
They have a fursona. They profit off the community either as an artist or something else, and they're like, but I fucking hate furries. Then leave. Yeah. Get out of here.
I love that you said that, because me and Ruby know a couple of people that are like that.
Dude,
where
I could name a couple of people.
Ooh, they're literally like makers in this fandom, and some of them are just like, if you know them personally, those things. I'm not gonna say they're like, I fucking hate furries, but they're like locked into it because they made that their fucking work.
There was drama.
If you don't like furries, leave.
Yeah,
no one is making you be here.
We have plenty of up and coming fursuit makers and people that love the fandom that would gladly take your commissions.
There was drama with a specific maker on TikTok a couple months back, because they were basically like children shouldn't be furries. Children don't belong in the furry fandom. Oh, jeez. And they were like, yeah, I don't even remember the exact words, but it boiled down to children don't belong in the furry fandom. And it's like, it's fine. You can not like kids, and you could prefer 18 plus spaces, but to say they don't belong at all is just kind of a wild take, you know?
My wild take, my hot take of the night is, I love kids who are furries. I love that. Make content, post it, be friends online, stay safe online, like in all fandoms.
Yeah.
Furry conventions are probably not for you, though.
That is your hot take.
Yeah, it's definitely a gray area.
Because so my issue is that we can't make a decision on this, because if we just did one way or the other, you either did allow children. If you do that, then you have to start protecting the children better, right? More specifically, night markets and more closed off spaces, and having more events and stuff that are child oriented that brings it to that side.
Parties would almost have to disappear completely if you wanted to make FurryCon safe for kids. I don't know how many times I was a minor in the furry fandom and I was offered alcohol and hard drugs and fucking sex at furry conventions.
Yeah. See, and that's why I'm thinking, if with more parental moderation.
But I don't want that in the fandom either. That's why I'm just like, dude, if you're not old enough to go to a furry con without your parents, don't go. It won't be fun anyway. You won't like.
Well, no, you should have to go with your parents, period, right?
Run around during the day, go with your mom, go with your dad, have a great time, and do not stay past 9:00.
I was gonna say, like, kids get day passes, maybe?
I'm down for a kid day pass.
Like, I agree.
The point being is, like,
agree. I 1000% agree. You reach a certain point in like the evening where it's like, okay, the kids need to go.
Yeah.
But
then,
like, they're still
just
furries, you know?
So while talking about all this,
they're definitely still furries for sure. Like you are still a furry if all you do is make little mask TikToks on
the Dino Mask furries.
The dragon mask. Like,
bro,
we love those. We stand the Dino Mask furries.
I will say, Dino Mask furries, stop trying to start pointless drama. Stop making like TikTok. What am I even trying to say? Hold on.
I actually don't blame them for making drama.
Misha, I'm just cutting this off. It's Misha says, the dinosaur mask furries, stop making. Just stop.
Just stop.
Stop.
No, like Dino Masks are great, but like every time there's a drama video on TikTok, it feels like it's a Dino Mask video.
I also don't care because if there's drama on TikTok and it's from a Dino Mask furry, I, the 30-year-old furry that I am, need to be smart enough to be like, all right, I'm gonna walk away from that one.
Oh, absolutely.
I do not care if the Dino Mask furries are fighting about whatever.
Yo, what a segue though. So speaking of being like a 30-year-old furry that should be competent to realize what's bait and what's not bait, and or like what you should be able to like read into situations, right? One of the things that kind of came with this gatekeeping in the furry fandom, or something that's a little adjacent, is that there's an Oklahoma House bill, it's House Bill 3084, that it's not passed. That's the big thing I want to talk about. It was introduced by some Republican legislator in Oklahoma called or House representative called Humphrey. And it literally just outlines how that if students were to be furry or like anthropomorphic animals or identify as an animal, that they would be removed from school, their parents would be called, and literally in the last sentences, either the parents would pick them up from school or animal control.
Do you think they'll euthanize me?
They made the joke that they're gonna like call animal control for their children. And it's in actual legislation, which means like it's a written bill. But here's the big thing, and I'm glad we're like releasing this episode in just a couple days, because hopefully, if this is getting blown out of proportion, this bill is not co-authored by anybody else, it is not co-sponsored by anybody else, and it was the last day of legislation in Oklahoma, where I think Republicans filed 100 other different bills.
You know what we call that? Busy paperwork to distract you from actually important shit.
And that's the big thing here is there's technically a non-zero chance that gets passed, but it's incredibly unlikely that this is gonna like actually be seen or passed. A and B, like it's more about what the fuck is in the other stuff that they're trying to hide from us while we get in a big old flurry over this other bill about furries,
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. It's funny to me in a very dystopian way that this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
That like some actual politician wrote in a bill to his state to ban furries from schools.
Look, man.
And that would be all of Oklahoma, by the way. That would be like every fucking school in Oklahoma.
To be fair, okay, in their defense, when I was in middle school, animal control should have come to pick me up.
Yeah, see, there are some cases.
I support this bill, actually.
I support this bill just because I want to see what happens. I want to see animal control called on a kid.
Let's go.
I think that'd be fun.
God.
Let's go.
Use one of those giant plastic pole things on a child. Let's go.
Oh my god. Well,
Misha, this is it.
It would be like,
I'm telling you.
What do you call it? It'd be like immediately lawsuits, Like, this is a child.
No, if a bill is passed, it's legal.
Oh, well, no, because there's got to be a way where you'd be able to bring it to the courts and be like, look, my kid's civil rights were violated by this.
They, like, wrangle you based on what animal you want to be.
Like, oh my god.
If you're pretending to be...
Like, are you a raccoon?
And they have to ask what species they identify as. Wow.
Do you have rabies? No. So they put down like a have a heart trap and just like, okay, get in.
Might as well go ahead and put the litter boxes in those schools too.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, the litter box.
I've been needing
for the holding area for when they identify one. Sir, we've got one.
We got one.
We got one of them furry kids.
I mean,
Code
okay.
9, Code 9,
See,
Code
like,
9.
Here's the thing. What fucking kid did not pretend to be an animal as a kid? Animals are fucking cool.
Dude, boring fucking kids.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't. It's like the meme of, did you know you were a furry when you played house with the other kids, you were always the cat or the dog?
See, I can't. That's the thing. It's like, I can't speak and be like, what kid didn't pretend to be an animal? I was an animal and fucking look at me now. But like, I swear to God, every single kid at some point was like, I'm a lion, rawr. Like, that shit happens. It's so unbelievably normal. We're villainizing nothing.
That's why, like, there's this thing that happens, like, when somebody talks about what my therapist said. Like, we're going back to like adults, right? And you're talking to your therapist about things like being a Therian. Most therapists will say, as long as it's not affecting your job, your relationships, or your I think income is the other one, but like job and income are kind of the same thing. It might also be hobbies. As long as it's not affecting any of those things in a negative way, go fucking ham.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Like,
it's the nuances, right?
Do you make friends being a Therian? Yeah. Are you cringe as fuck? Yeah. Are you free? 100%. But does your like neurodivergency or your like atypical behavior affect your relationships? Let's say you are a hoarder. This can be fine, but it starts to become a problem when your friends don't want to come over anymore because your house is such a mess, and that is when you have to kind of reevaluate. The same thing for being a furry or anything a little bit like weird. Like, if you will only hang out with your friends if they're wearing tails, then we need to reevaluate.
I feel like that's something you definitely want to talk to a therapist about, but on that same note, like,
it's so personal.
I'm thinking, like, if you explicitly only are friends with people that actually fursuit or just have tails on at all times, like, that are just hardcore always into that, like, stuff, right?
But literally name one. Like, nobody is like that.
Well, I think nobody's like that, but on that same note, like, even if you did, like, that's a kind of a on you kind of thing, where it's like you're just gonna have to like reduce social interaction because you're just not gonna have a lot of friends, right?
Yeah.
That's still, like, I guess it's damaging to yourself, so I'd rather you not do that. But no, a lot of these conversations when it comes down to furries and a lot of these other things, the little bit strange, the little bit weird things that you see on like that show. Actually, I don't want to quote that stuff, but you know, the weird, but it's considered as strange hobbies and things like that. It's all nuanced, right? Like, obviously, if you go to the extreme, you're getting into some really dark territories and stuff that may not be legal even, you know. Don't be that. And I love that you came to that, or like your therapist and all that stuff has that conversation of like, is it enriching? And this is what I would say: is it enriching to your life, or is it taking away from your life? And that could be harming you financially, hoarding, and anything like that. Where it's like, if it harms you physically, probably shouldn't do it unless there's a safe word involved.
I mean,
we love safe words in this house.
We do love safe words.
What's our safe key, word? Baby.
What's our safe word?
Fuck. What is the bark meow safe word? The tap out.
Ruby, let stop. Us know
down below.
Ruby, stop is not a good safe word.
Ruby, no.
Little fucking gremlin.
Our safe word is spray bottle.
That's actually so great. Discord channel, we're gonna need a spray battle sound in the sound effects, please. Yes.
God, that's amazing. All right, so we're gonna need you all to go get spray bottles, hook them up, set up a microphone, sample the spray bottle sounds, and then come back to us.
I want to add that to my Twitch. Which, speaking of Twitch, I want to get back on Twitch because Cult of the Lamb has some new content, and if you did not know, I am still the world champion speedrun holder of Cult of the Lamb on hard mode.
Yo.
And I was at the FurryCon this weekend, and I was hanging out with some normies.
Mm-hmm.
Friends of friends, and I was like, yeah, I'm a speedrun holder, and at first they were like, wow, that's really cool, but then we pulled it up on my phone, and they were like, holy shit, that's real. Like, yeah, it is, bitches.
It is fun. I do like having a little bit of I like having a top 10 with Blake and Gunfire Reborn.
I love that it's not a good record either. Like
Oh,
all I
yours?
did was mine is bad. All I did was complete the game and nobody else played it.
No, they didn't play it in that current category.
Yeah, they didn't play it in
There's
hard mode.
other competitive categories. Cause like so there's I'd say big like quote unquote speed run of some of those RPG games. If you do it like glitchless without like 100%, it's like 100-hour speed run. So like you have to pause the timer, go fucking to bed, get up in the morning, start stream, finish the rest.
That's against the rules. You have to do it continuously.
No, not in some of them. Because like
Really?
you literally can't be up for 114 hours.
No, see that was a part of mine. That's why mine was so like the biggest challenge was just staying awake.
Oh no,
Yeah.
there's definitely some speedruns out there that are actually somewhere around the 16 to 18 hour mark, and they do it without sleeping. It's just straight. But when you get into some of those again, it's like very niche categories. Like I think there's an Animal Crossing one that involves like no using the glitch to get stuff early. So you have to get it all naturally, and it's 100% get a perfect city in the original Animal Crossing, and every item from Nook's shop and everything, like fill out the catalog and all that stuff. It's like it was several hundreds of hours. It was like weeks of speed running because that's the fastest you can do it.
Yeah, that's like
crazy.
It's technically a speed run. It's an incredibly long speed run.
Yeah. It's like why the fuck would you do that? Yeah.
Well, like, some games take weeks to play, so
yeah.
Because it's very explicitly just the fact of like
I'm pretty sure Animal Crossing takes a year at least because of all the seasons.
So the glitch being in the original Animal Crossing, you can't do a there's a way to just get items by entering in certain codes. So if you just have the list, you can just type in all these codes at Nook's shop. It takes a solid, I forget how long, like hour of just entering codes to fill out the catalog. But instead of having to do the time glitch, which you are allowed in that speed run, where you can go back, you can close out of the game, go to your GameCube console, change the date and time. You can go to the special events, like on Easter, you can only get certain events on Easter, or certain items on Easter, right? So they will allow you to do that, but everything else has to come naturally. You can't just put the code in that shop, is what it was. And that drastically changes what is like, I think, a couple hour speed run into a like 140-hour speed run. Ridiculous. And I do appreciate that somebody's like, I'm gonna one shot this game as fast as possible. And people can easily beat that record. Well, I'm gonna say easily. You have to want to attempt it multiple times. No.
Yeah,
no,
that's the thing. I don't think very many people want to do that multiple times.
Longest speed run ever.
Well, there's a whole video about it.
Oh, I know.
So, that's like the third or fourth time I said so this episode. But I got a new phone, guys.
Oh.
I got an iPhone 15.
Nice.
I was on an iPhone XR that I've had for 6 years, and that bitch,
you know what,
died just by looking at it, so it was time for an upgrade.
Props to you.
Thank you
for upgrading from such an XR.
Yeah, I had that thing like pre-pandemic, 2019, 2018. But
I can already feel all of our fans that are just sitting there shaking their head and going, Apple. I know
I have an iPhone.
I know.
I think if you're still doing the phone debate, you're kind of a bitch.
Yeah,
that's my hot take.
Would come from an Apple user.
Shut up. That's my hot take.
Would come from an Apple user.
Who would have guessed that the end of Bark Bark Meow would not involve me? I'm just sitting over here being sick, and you guys
you deserve your little Zoid, though. You can have ADHD.
Oh, I'll bring back the ADHD.
ADHD's Zoid. I'm covered in a blanket and everything. Like, you know those.
You be comfied up.
You know those stickers of like when you're sick. Like we
want to get your favorite treat. We want to get your favorite tea with some hot honey.
Oh, I wish I had tea and honey, and I don't.
What is Andy doing, man?
Because it's too cold. We can't go anywhere.
Oh, fair. You know what? Yeah.
Snowed in.
We're snowed in. Andy went to school today, and he came back early, and he managed to get a pack of ramen before the snow got so bad he had to leave.
I had baked potato, like the Panera little bowl this for lunch.
You didn't have the death lemonade?
The what?
The death lemonade?
Oh no, I bought it from.
I haven't had the death lemonade yet. I want to drink it. I'm ready to die.
I think as somebody like me who's got like a massive caffeine tolerance, I do have to try it.
I would take a sip. I do not handle large amounts of caffeine well. I would die.
See, I want somebody like you to try it.
No, I'll try it. I actually want to try it. I'm not going to drink the whole thing.
I was going to go ahead and get life insurance on Misha.
Oh my god. With your support, check out our Patreon in the description down below to help us get life insurance so that we can try the Panera Death Lemonade.
Oh my god, is it the... It's like, wait, the problem is, god damn it, people have died from this, and it's sad, and it's awful, and I was just about to be like, can we grimace shake this? But I was like, that would be so bad. Is this like...
Yes, we're not going to grimace
Nobody
shake.
Nobody died during the grimace shake.
Not from the drink itself. The stupidity of ideas, I don't know.
Dude,
nobody died from it. Like we're so safe on the grimace shake, but yes, unfortunately, due to toxic marketing from companies, people have injured themselves and passed away due to the awful negligence of Panera bread.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will clap back with well, they just didn't read the label. No, shut the fuck up. Nothing on that label says there's caffeine in it except for the nutrition facts. And if I, a non-caffeine drinker, go to have a lemonade and it's called a charged lemonade and there's yuzu in it, I assume the charged means the yuzu flavor.
Oh. Yeah. Well, so very explicitly, the beginning case of the lawsuits that's going against Panera when they were in a lot of big trouble was the fact that it was, I guess, the lemonade was mixed, or when I say mixed, it was... The dispenser is right there with all the other drinks. There's nothing on it that says it's high caffeine. I think it's 300 or 400 milligrams per serving. One cup. Or not 1 cup. One drink. Because it's big, 1 cup is only, 12 or 16 ounces.
They're not going to get in trouble for it. It's horrible, but they're not. They should.
I don't know about the original lawsuits. Because later on, I guess they added more signage. It's still not great. Because... Again, one of the wrongful death lawsuits is from somebody who knew they had heart issues and knew that they are very caffeine sensitive and had to watch that stuff. And that's what their deal was. They check everything and they had one of those damn lemonades and had a heart attack. Yeah. And it's just I hate that it should... The fucking legalities of these things. I hate that it shouldn't even be allowed.
I know how shitty it is because some of the workers didn't even know how much fucking caffeine was in there.
Yeah.
I know there was a worker who had, for religious reasons, does not drink caffeine. Mm-hmm. And she would come to work and have a lemonade, and she had one every day, and she had no idea why she felt quote unquote so happy at work.
Oh, and it's still on their website right now because I wanted to look this up. They have what's called the Unlimited Sip Club. You get 2 months free if you offer in and you join. It's $11.99 monthly, or you can spend $120 to buy a year. This includes, and it even says right here, charged sips or charged lemonades.
I'm pretty sure
that's the fucking problem. Is that's even still, I don't know why that's even on there. They should exclude the charged. No offense, but it is. Right.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think people should be in charge of their own bodies in that way, but informed consent is what's important here. So if I, an absolute manic person, wants to put 2 charged lemonades in my body, I should be allowed to, but knowing full well what I am putting in my body and purchasing.
See, I think there has to be a limit on something that has a dangerous amount of anything in it. So that being caffeine, it should be a max of 2 drinks, because after 2 drinks, even doctors are you're hitting that caffeine limit at 2 drinks, if not over that caffeine limit suggested.
You're over it at 2 drinks. You're over
it. And if you go back for a third, wild. You're even people that aren't necessarily affected by caffeine a lot at all could be looking at trouble here.
But yeah, but nothing's stopping me from buying. Nothing's stopping me from buying 6 Red Bulls.
I think the issue here, I guess for me, is that it's a dispensed drink at a restaurant versus you going out and buying 6 cans and slamming the Red Bulls.
That's what I'm saying. that's the implied consent.
I think
know.
at a
I
rest.
No, yeah, I'll just chart. Same thing as if I'm at a restaurant.
Well, I don't think you should be able to poison yourself or like basically unalive yourself on a drink at a restaurant just because you have
people do it all the time with soda. Soda is not good for you.
Oh no, soda's not good for you, but
that's a lot of sugar.
Most people don't drink like gallons of soda and die.
Exactly, because we know as a society what we're putting in ourselves. If I have a Pepsi, I'm gonna be fine. If I have 2 Pepsis, I should probably stop. Versus nobody knew anything about these fucking lemonades because Panera didn't tell anybody. So that's why I think it's way more an argument about informing the people what they're purchasing and way less about like regulation. I'm very anti-regulation in general. I think people should be able to make informed decisions about their health and their well-being. And I want 4 charged lemonades, but I have ADHD.
Oh God. That'll get you out of bed, Ruby. That'll get you feeling great.
Finally, something that will get me out of fucking bed.
You just gotta go get it. And it's
one of those weird things where like I just don't think you should be able to poison yourself. So that's why there should be a limit on those drinks in general.
Well, then soda should be limited 100%.
But soda doesn't have near as much caffeine.
No.
Or sugar.
But it does. Soda, you could die from drinking too much soda. People do all the time.
I see. This is where you'd have to bring up statistics before you say stuff like that to me. God damn it!
All right, I'm googling it.
No.
I have to know. Roughly, wow, obesity related deaths somewhere around 180,000 deaths worldwide.
I searched canned soda, and the first drop down is canned soda cause kidney stones, canned soda cause cancer, canned soda kill you.
So they're saying. So what it is 1 in every 100 deaths that are obesity related are caused by sugary beverages, typically soda.
And if you look
at it's not directly soda itself is the soda causing the obesity. Well, there's a lot of causation and
and if you compare that type of death, if you compare those type of deaths, the same ones with the Panera thing, then yeah, it's very similar. We don't know that these people didn't have a Red Bull the day before.
No. It's not the caffeine that killed them. It's the sugary and obesity like thing that killed them.
I was saying
caffeine is incredibly different because that can just cause a heart attack.
And only some people, like not a lot of people died from this. Unfortunately, some.
No. It's again. So it's back in the days when we talk about Red Bull and Monster. I remember when the energy shots. I don't think it was Red Bull or Monster, but I think the energy shots for sure, like 5-hour energy. When it came out, you had to have I had to prove I was 16 to buy them. I had to show my card for it, like the first year they came out. Because typically, when you're under the age of even 20, I think it's usually 18 for sure. You're still growing, your body's still like growing and adjusting. And at any point in time in those like earlier years of your life, if you develop some sort of heart defect or arrhythmia or something like that, caffeine, even that of soda to some degree, some people can't even have like a soda's worth of caffeine, like a Pepsi, like because it like could cause them to have a heart attack or something like that. And that's really, really dangerous. But again, that's why it's like you got these 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, their parents are letting them have a Red Bull, and they don't know yet that their heart has like an abnormality. And that's when you get into those cases where those kids, unfortunately, either are hospitalized or die. And they found that it's like, again, it's too young. You don't know enough, right? Like as a 30-year-old, Ruby, you should know by now. Go have a charged lemonade and find out.
And I have the right to have a charged lemonade and find out, and I will eventually as soon as I finish sleeping.
So you find a Panera?
There's a Panera up here.
It's my case. I think the nearest Panera is like 30 minutes away from me. We all get charged lemonades to go, and we all try it on the show.
Oh baby!
And then when we're doing the afterbark, we're fucking cracked out on.
You guys want to see the worst? You guys want to see the worst Misha be barking panic attack? Let's do it.
I'm like normal. It doesn't affect me at all.
Oh no!
You guys remember those bangs? Bang Energy. I used to drink like one of those a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I at one point I was like, wow, I am like an anxious mess. Maybe I should drink less of these. And I stopped drinking them for like 2 weeks. And then they came out with a new flavor, and I was like, well, I gotta try it for good old time's sake. And so I drank it, and I remember sitting in rehearsal, and I was just having the worst panic attack, and I was like, I need to get out of here. Like, holy shit. So that was when I realized I don't handle large amounts of caffeine very well.
Yeah, I'll do so much. I'll chug 3 Dr. Peppers and like it calms me down.
See, I could also. That was the other thing, was it didn't even work because I took a nap after rehearsal.
That sucks.
Well, it depends. Caffeine isn't as big. Like you've got your caffeine crash that can happen. That sucks. Usually, when it comes, it's not caffeine's the crash as much as the sugar crash. A lot of your drinks have a lot of sugar in them, and that's why when people are like, "Oh, you drink a Monster, you crash afterward." Well, it's actually the sugar rush that you're coming down from.
That makes sense.
And that's why when you drink a lot of the other like non-actual sugar made ones, like the zero sugar, zero caffeine, or not zero caffeine, but the zero sugar stuff, it's not as bad. And that's because it's only the caffeine that your body's running out. Caffeine stays in your body for a while. Your body has to use it and or piss it out, one or the other.
And even for people like me that are not really affected by caffeine, it will 100% will affect your sleep.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
You will sleep less good if you drink caffeine. And if you are having trouble sleeping but you enjoy coffee, it is recommended to only drink caffeinated beverages between like 10 a.m. and above. And if you can't make 10 a.m., then 12 noon and above, and then stop at noon.
Yeah, I like my cutoff for caffeinated beverages, even like including soda, is 1 or 2 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, I had to look this up, but I had to look this up because I knew there's a specific time frame. The amount of caffeine you ingest at one point in time is reduced in half, somewhere between 4 to 6 hours, depending on how your body metabolizes it personally. So if you drink a cup of coffee, 4 to 6 hours later, there's still half of that amount of caffeine of that cup of coffee in your body. Which is why if you go to, say, drink a Red Bull, even if it's 6 hours before going to bed, that still means half of that Red Bull could still be worth of caffeine is still in your body as you're trying to lay down. Now, what does that mean? Do you feel energized? Do you still feel like you're jacked and you want to go do stuff? No, but that caffeine does limit how well you can go into your, I believe it's your deep sleep.
Yeah, your REM sleep.
And that fucks with how quality of sleep you get that night. Which is why, again, you shouldn't do what I'm about to do and drink Red Bull and alcohol later.
Let's fucking go.
Look, I looked at my work schedule and it's like, all right, starting Thursday night, I have to be in bed early. Bed being early, like 8 o'clock. So I'm like, if I want to do anything, I have to do it tonight because if not, I'm not going to do shit till Monday night. That's too far off in the distance. So I'm going to get drunk tonight on stream.
Let's go.
Let's go. That sounds like great, so I wish I could do that.
I might pop an edible. I'm not sure. My roommate's getting drunk because
pop in what?
An edible. An edible.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what the fuck are you saying? Holy shit.
My roommate, Splat, they just got a new job. Like an actual graphic design position.
Wait, that sounds awesome. I assume it's a job they've wanted?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Tell them congrats.
I will.
Yeah, congrats.
They're partying it up.
The word along.
I have class tomorrow morning, so I really can't, but...
You're going to take another day?
Yeah.
I'm going to get off this and go immediately back to sleep.
You should.
I think we could cut this off at a shorter episode.
I have no clue how long we've been going because you haven't shared your screen and I don't have a time
That's
frame.
The step I was missing. It's fine. We're too late. We're 57 minutes in.
I have no clue how much is going to be cut from this episode.
Like 5 from the beginning. We can do a shorter episode. Ruby's sick. I'm busy with school. You're getting drunk.
By the time this episode airs, it's not going to be over, but there's a really cool event happening right now. I've been sharing it with some of the stuff for video games.
Right.
Awesome Games Done Quick is happening on Twitch right now. If you don't know what Awesome Games Done Quick or what Games Done Quick organization does, is it does a bunch of charity-ran Twitch streamed events throughout the year, but the 2 major ones are Awesome Games Done Quick done in January, and there's Summer Games Done Quick, SGDQ, and usually July each year. This one, Awesome Games Done Quick, is a charity event benefiting Prevent Cancer Foundation. It runs from Sunday to Sunday, so it started last Sunday. It goes till the end of this Sunday, or it ends sometime in the early AMs of Sunday this week, the 21st. So there'll still be a couple days left. Go check the schedule out to see if there's any favorite games being ran on later this Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It's a lot of easy, fun content for me. I enjoy watching games getting absolutely destroyed and broken. There's some really cool fucking merch, video game and somewhat video game, and you could consider even furry oriented. There's a bunch of furries that actually either help run the event and or are even speedrunners in the event. They're just low key. And again, it goes towards Prevent Cancer Foundation, which is a great organization. So you should definitely check that out. Speaking about charity events and our speedrunner in tow here, I'd have to double check, Ruby. But I want to do a charity event involving Cult of the Lamb and Bark Bark Meowcast and raising money.
I'm so down.
We have to choose a charity that we'd like to choose to do that for. All three of us would just get together while one of us plays Cult of the Lamb. We will raise money for charity, and of course, in Cult of the Lambs, the new playthrough, we'll go ahead and call it the Cult of Broomby.
Yeah,
I love that. I love it. I have it all set up so like our people can like join and get in the cult. And
Exactly.
All that fun stuff.
That'd be the really cool thing, because not only I don't know how. So how long did it take for you to beat the game? What's your record? Like how many hours? Roughly.
8 hours.
Sorry.
8 hours.
So that's what I would be looking at. Is we would load it up. We would load it up for like an 8 to 9 hour stream.
Oh, it's a bad speed run. That's why it's so funny.
We do like an 8 or 9 hour speed run where we set it up to where I haven't beaten it and Misha hasn't played it, so I assumed maybe Ruby would play it and stream it, or we'll have to figure that out later. But regardless, one of us would be playing it while the other two are commentary and like chatting with y'all, and you'd be able to, by using the integrations, you'd be able to join the cult through, I don't know if YouTube had an extension. I know Twitch had an extension.
Yeah, Twitch has the extension.
So we might have to do this on Twitch stream and figure out how to also broadcast it to Bark Bark Meow on YouTube. Not sure, but it'd be really fun. And I am a huge charity driven person. I love doing charity work, and I would love to get the first official Bark Bark Meow event to go through. And I think this would be really fun.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a to be announced, dated. We don't even know when we're going to start this, so maybe a minute. But
all right, gamers.
Exciting things.
Ruby,
it's about that time.
Go to bed.
About that time.
I will. I love you both.
Love you too.
Oh, my
feel better, please.
I'm sure I will soon. It came on so strong.
Tips Fedora.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. I'm going to bed.
Do you have the Patreon list handy?
No, let me grab it though.
Fuff, we gotta do that.
We
gotta shout out our Patreon supporters as always. It really helps us out. Misha does way too much work, and honestly, deserves a little bit of love. And I know you all who do have the financial ability to do that. Thank you so much.
Where the fuck
I know not everybody
can.
If you're just a viewer, if you're just an audience member that comes in, we still appreciate you and love you. And remember that just getting the word out about this podcast makes a massive difference too. Liking, commenting, subscribing, all that stuff boosts our algorithm on YouTube and boosts the total core audience. So
yeah,
this was a weird episode.
Nah, it's all good.
I'm thinking about the things we talked about. I can't wait to listen on Friday and be like, wow, we were on certain trains of thoughts today.
All right, gamers. Special thanks to our Patreons. Thank you to Coraline R. Thank you to Kai. Thank you to Quint. Thank you to Raze. Thank you to Steam Pony and Ankara. Thank you to Carnelian Fox. Thank you to Fio Firefox. And thank you to Pip the Badger. And speaking of them, be sure to check out their video. Just Pip the Badger on YouTube. Solace, Ruby, and I were all in it.
I was supposed to live react to that today.
Today?
Yeah, for this episode.
Oh, Ruby got sick. We'll do it next week.
We'll do it next week. I haven't watched the bit of voice acting I did yet, and I would really want to watch this episode because it sounds really funny. It sounds really good.
It does. And if we anticipate that we're doing a live reaction thing, I can set up our little setup area so that it'll be super easy to edit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that was definitely supposed to happen this week, and fuck.
That's all good.
Oh well.
All right, guys.
Love you guys. Thank you again for all your support.
Yeah. If you're here for the premiere, hello. You're beautiful. Nice.
Nice cock.
Nice cock. If you're here for the premiere, hello. We do these premieres at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Friday, and then afterwards we do an After Bark episode at 5 p.m. roughly, give or take, depends on how long the episode is. And it's basically just an additional episode, but live, where we just sit around and talk about the episode and whatever else chat wants to talk about. So if you're free Friday nights, be sure to check it out. And that's all I got.
And if your child has recently been picked up by animal control at your local school in Oklahoma, please demand that your local animal shelters has Bark Bark Meow on at all times.
Yes, and tell us about it, because I think it's a really funny story. All right, bye guys.
All right, bye.